Believe it or not, I come offering a solution to a very important part of this larger problem with the requisite focus on climate. And the solution I offer is to the biggest culprit in this massive mistreatment of the earth by humankind. According to Paul and Ann Ehrlich and their well-known environmental impact equation, impact, a bad thing, is the product of population, affluence, and technology. That is, impact is generated by people, what they consume in their affluence, and how it is produced. I know the equation is largely subjective. You can perhaps quantify people and perhaps quantify affluence, but technology is abusive in too many ways to quantify, so the equation is conceptual. Still, it works to help us understand the problem. So we set out at Interface in 1994 to create an example, to transform the way we made carpet, a petroleum-intensive product for materials as well as energy, and to transform our technologies so they diminished environmental impact rather than multiplied it. Paul and Ann Ehrlich's environmental impact equation, I is equal to P times A times T, population, affluence, and technology. I wanted Interface to rewrite that equation so that it read I equal P times A divided by T. Now, the mathematically minded will see immediately that T in the numerator increases impact, a bad thing, but T in the denominator decreases impact. So I ask, what would move T, technology, from the numerator, call it T1, where it increases impact, to the denominator, call it T2, where it reduces impact? We reckon that we are a bit over halfway to our goal, zero impact, zero footprint. We've set 2020 as our target year for zero, for reaching the top, the summit of Mount Sustainability. We call this Mission Zero. And this is perhaps the most important fact, that we have found Mission Zero to be incredibly good for business. A better business model, a better way to bigger profits. If every business were pursuing the Interface plan, would that solve all our problems? I don't think so. I remain troubled by the revised Ehrlich equation, I equal P times A divided by T2. That A is a capital A, suggesting that affluence is an end in itself. But what if we reframed Ehrlich further? And what if we made A lowercase a, suggesting that it is a means to an end, and that end is happiness. More happiness with less stuff. You know, that would reframe civilization itself. And our whole system of economics, if not for our species, then perhaps for the one that succeeds us, the sustainable species, living on a finite earth, ethically, happily, and ecologically in balance with nature and all her natural systems for 1,000 generations or 10,000 generations, that is to say, into the indefinite future. And as my good friend and advisor Amory Lovins says, if something exists, it must be possible. If we can actually do it, it must be possible. If we, a petro-intensive company, can do it, anybody can. And if anybody can, it follows that everybody can. With continued unchecked decline of the biosphere, a very dear person is at risk here. Frankly, at unacceptable risk. Who is that person? Not you, not I, but let me introduce you to the one who is most at risk. Here's what Glenn wrote, and here's that person most at risk. Please meet tomorrow's child. Without a name and unseen face, and knowing not your time or place. Tomorrow's child, though yet unborn, I met you first last Tuesday morn. A wise friend introduced us to, and through his sobering point of view, I saw a day that you would see, a day for you, but not for me. Knowing you has changed my thinking, for I never had an inkling that perhaps the things I do might someday somehow threaten you. Tomorrow's child, my daughter's son, I'm afraid I've just begun to think of you and of your good, though always having known I should. Begin I will, to weigh the cost of what I squander, what is lost, if ever I forget that you will someday come and live here too. Well, every day of my life since tomorrow's child has spoken to me with one simple but profound message, which I presume to share with you. We are each and every one a part of the web of life. The continuum of humanity, sure, but in a larger sense, the web of life itself, and we have a choice to make. during our brief visit to this beautiful blue and green living planet, to hurt it or to help it. For you, it's your call. Thank you.